Hey guys, Dr. Jason Won here. So it's January 1st, 2025. Some of you guys don't know who I am, but this is probably one of many videos that I guess when I look back at it, if there's ever a time where, I start to have more impact on the world and I start to get some notice as far as like what sort of value I want to provide, probably gonna look at this video and be like, hey, this video was not the best one. But in any case, just want to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Jason Won. I'm a board certified orthopedic physical therapist in San Francisco Bay Area. And what I love to do is I love to help busy parents. I love to help tech professionals really regain a sense of control over their health. Mainly, I help a lot of people with pain and injury prevention, teaching people how to train without pain, teaching people how to get stronger as they get older. And I love to speak to a lot of the parents out there because I am a father of two. I run my own business. I have a team. I've helped a lot of people maybe over the past 6 years since quitting my corporate job. And I love what I do. I just wanted to say that, if anybody is following right now, and if you've been following my journey, then what I want to do is start cranking out more YouTube videos. I really want to try to get you guys into the trenches of everything that I do. From taking care of my kids, what I do in the morning, how I essentially can run my business, how often I exercise, what I do in terms of eating. If you do resonate with anything there, whether you're super busy, you're always strapped for time, you're taking care of kids, I have a toddler and I have an infant, but still hopefully getting to the point where you can see that someone like myself, a regular average Joe, somebody that was obese when they were younger, can really make huge changes for your health. I feel like even at age 36, I am probably the strongest and the most mobile that I've ever been. My body rarely hurts, I rarely get sick. So again, I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. Now, again, today's January 1st, 2025. What better way to start the new year than getting in a nighttime workout? My kids have gone to sleep. I have kind of adapted to whether I work out early in the morning, sometimes it happens, but sometimes I simply just fit things in. I might actually start adapting to a more nighttime schedule because they used to say that the best entrepreneurs, the best business owners, all of them wake up early. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, all of them, they get their workout in, they have a morning ritual, they get so much done in the morning before the regular Joe starts getting stuff in. But, for me, I might have to adjust my schedule. And so for me, nighttime workouts actually mean a lot. So if anybody has ever told you that you need to work out in the morning, that's the best time because, you wake up before everyone else does, stay to your lane. That'd be my advice is everybody's journey is going to be different as far as their fitness. So, I used to actually work out late at night. In the morning was the times that I would usually just sleep in. And since starting my business, I forced myself to be this morning person. And it might work later on down the road. Maybe if my kids grow up and their schedule changes, I have to be a little bit more adapting of that. But, like I said right now, I think what's best for me is to, I am a night owl at heart. So I want to get in my nighttime workout and I want to take you through some of the workouts, what I do, what exactly kind of I program for myself. And hopefully this can inspire, some of you guys. But in any case, if you're new here, and also if you've been here for a while, please click the like button and also subscribe below. That way you won't miss out on any of this great content. Again, just trying to carve out myself as somebody that is a parent, mixture of strength coaching. I also kind of dabble in nutrition. But most importantly, I am a strength coach. I'm a lifestyle coach. I feel like my habits are some of the things that I really value the most. I'm extremely diligent about my movement and everything. So I think if there's one thing that kind of separates me is the habits of things. And so hopefully as I document more of my life, you'll start to see how kind of crazy I am when it comes to movement. Just getting in push-ups before breakfast, push-up, pretty much putting my son on my back before every meal and just doing push-ups to failure, brushing my teeth and doing single leg squats at the same time. You might not believe me, but as I document this stuff, you'll see that you'll see the little bit of craziness of Dr. J. So in any case, let's kind of cut to the workout. So right now I'm in my home gym. If there's anybody that's San Francisco, Daly City, San Mateo Bay Area, pay me a visit. You can find me on Google and Yelp. I'd love to work with anybody that is a fitness enthusiast, or if you're a busy parent, you have some chronic pain issues, or let's say you are somebody that wants to improve their knowledge of the human body and how to train better with less injuries, then I actually love working with people. So anybody's interested, let me know. So in any case, what I'm doing right now is I'm hitting my leg workout today. Today I'm gonna start off with 3 sets of about 6 to 8 pretty heavy squats. And then I'm gonna go into my RDLs. The thing that, I guess one tip that I wanna give to people, especially anybody that's considering getting stronger, but let's say you go to the gym very often and you notice that you don't make any strength gains. You are consistently doing the same weights over and over again. You're not seeing changes aesthetically, performance-wise. The most important thing is actually to track your workouts. So I use an app on my Android phone called FitNotes, and you can use any app. I actually have my own app for my own clients, but the most important thing is tracking. One of my favorite quotes I always say is, what can't be measured can't be managed. So if you're trying to manage and trying to optimize your health and fitness and get stronger, you might just be doing the same thing over and over again because you don't document your stuff. I have information from 10 years ago. Actually, probably, I think, the first time using FitNotes was back in 2014. I have data from 2014 and it's 2025 to date. So 11 years of data on my phone. I can, if you think about it, one, you can always up level yourself. You can look back at what you did and be like, shoot, I'm always gonna beat them. I'm always gonna one up myself. That's number one. So you can always level up on yourself and always become 1% better. Number two, you have an objective way of progressive overload. So progressive overload is if you have a rep range of like 3 sets of 8 to 10. You know, usually you start at the lower rep range, okay, at a certain amount of weight. You document that. I document between every single set and track all my rest times. And then the next time I do it, if I get to like the 10th rep, that's considered the upper limit of that rep range. So by default, what I always want to try to do as much as possible is to drop the reps back down and to increase the weight. And usually lower extremities with the lower body, you can increase, if you're pretty advanced, you can increase 10 to 20 pounds. However, if you're a little bit more novice, you can go with 5 to 10. And even for upper body, which is their smaller muscle groups, you wanna try to aim for anywhere between 2.5 to 10 pound increase. So hopefully that gives you some tips. With that being said, you know, just gonna hit some warm-up sets and then go into my heavy sets. Same warm-up sets. Load on a little bit more weight here. I'll probably get a mic for next time, but you know, usually I start off with something that's extremely light. So this is about 155. Usually if I wasn't filming here, I'd be kind of documenting on my phone. But what I'm gonna do is just slowly increase the amount of load and then work up to my sets. Another mistake that people make is with their warm-up sets, when I'm warming up for like a heavier squat, people try to hit like a 10 rep range. I have no idea why. I probably made the same mistakes, but you don't want to hit like higher volume on your warm-up sets because you're just exhausting and utilizing glucose and you're utilizing energy sources and ATP that you shouldn't be, because you're just wasting that energy for your heavier set. So like I said, I only hit 3 sets, even though my working reps are going to be about around the 6 to 8 range, right? So let me load on a couple plates. All right, so we got about 255. Again, I'm gonna hit another three reps or so. I'm good. 255 is feeling pretty easy right now. So looks like I'm gonna try to hit around the 355 to 365 range. Last time I hit 355 at around 4 reps or 4 to 6 reps. So in any case, like I said, always trying to one-up yourself every single time. This is not infinite, so I don't want you to think that you have to infinitely go up. So there's always ways of structuring to like where you scale back or you deload, you know, you give your nervous system a chance to rest. But, you know, structured programming is key. And like I said, if there's one thing that you get from this video, besides just getting to know me and my crazy antics, track your damn workouts, right? If you don't track your workouts, I kid you not, right? You're not gonna make much gains. I think consistency is one thing, but if you're consistently doing the wrong things, then consistency doesn't really make a difference, right? You're just gonna maintain rather than actually make a difference in your health and fitness, right? And actually get stronger. We want to build as much muscle mass as we get older because we want more to lose, right? If you're just maintaining the same amount of muscle mass, you're going to decline from here. If you're going to increase the amount of muscle mass and increase your power output and build up as much muscle as possible, well, I'm trying to build up as much as I can before my body, you know, gets quote unquote over the hump, and then I have more to lose, right? So I decline at a much slower rate than a version of myself that just did the same weights over and over again. So hopefully that makes sense. I told you that I was going to try to hit at least 360 to 365 for anywhere between 5 to 8 reps. So looking at my history, you see that I have been consistently progressing load. I've even done some deloads throughout the week, but you can see even back in the day, I have data from long time ago. It shows from 2019, but realistically, I have other types of squat variations that I have been documenting for well over 10 years. So this is my system in which, if you look at 355 for 5 reps, which was done on Christmas Day, clearly what I'm going to do, sorry, I have clients that are messaging me all the time. Any case, 355 for 5, right? So what I'm going to try to hit is at least 360, right? I could do 355. I could hit that for higher volume, but what I'm going to try to do is increase my limits as far as intensity, and I'm going to try to hit just at least 5 more pounds. So hopefully this is helpful, and hopefully I'll be able to hit this number here. And that's the kind of like motor imagery, trying to like prep that in advance that you are going to hit that weight, you are going to perform at a better level. And again, always trying to one up yourself. Hopefully this helps. So in any case, I'm going to grab my zip belt. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the deadlift jack. Simply just get it underneath the bar like so, and then just lift it up. So you can kind of see in the camera, the plates are lifted off the ground, at least this side of the plate. So now, once I load up some plates, okay, all I gotta do is simply slide it on. Easy money, right? Okay, so you just load in a couple plates on this side, take the jack out, get onto the other side, and you're good to go. Okay, so you gotta do is just get onto this side. There you go. All right, then you're good to go. Okay, deadlift jack. Go get one. All right, so just gonna start off with an easy 335 for 3 reps. Just one more up set. I'm already pretty warm from the squats. And then I'm gonna get after it with the heavier sets. So let's go. So another thing that I'll link into the comments here are these things called VersaGrips, especially with maybe some of you guys that don't have like extremely large bone structure. Some guys have massive bone structure in their forearms, yeah? I'm a 5'8" Asian guy, so when the weights get over a certain amount, the thing I want to do is make sure that my grip doesn't give out before the other muscles that I'm actually working. So my goal is to get stronger in my glutes, my hamstrings, my lower back. The last thing I want to do to give out is to drop the bar. So again, these VersaGrips, pretty simple here. So what you do is you get it through the loop, okay? You simply just get it on like so, strap these guys on, make sure it's aligned with your palm, and you're good to go, okay? Same thing on this side. And by the way, these guys are like 8 to 10 years old, so they still work exactly the same. The leather's a little bit more worn, but that doesn't really interfere with the lift at all, okay? Now you're good to go, okay? When I actually get here, what I'm gonna do is, you see my hand here? So there's a loop between my hand and then also the leather. So the leather is gonna go on the bottom side of the bar and my hand's gonna go on the top. So as I grab the bar, when I slip my hand through, I'm gonna get my thumb underneath, I'm gonna slip the leather, and now the leather underneath the bar. So once I do that, I really don't have to use a lot of grip strength in order to maintain that bar in my hand. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. 2 things that I would recommend if you're hitting heavy deadlifts. One are these VersaGrips. You can get those on Amazon as well. And then a deadlift jack. You don't need the deadlift jack. I would definitely recommend, if your grip gives out before anything else on a deadlift, definitely get some VersaGrips for sure. Worth the $60 to $100, whatever you choose. I think some are go on sale for like $40, $50. Deadlift jack is just icing on the cake, much less taxing on your body to load 4 to 5 plates off of the bar. All right, so anyways, let me get on my warm-up set. That was a little bit more taxing than I thought it would be, but still going to load up at least another 90 pounds or so onto the bar. Couple tips for the deadlift, especially if you're trying to get like a stronger lower back. Deadlifts, a lot of people perceive that deadlifts is a bad exercise for your lower back because it puts too much strain there. It only puts too much strain there if you don't have good form and technique, and if you don't do it consistently enough. Deadlifts is probably one of the best things that I treat, or that I actually instill and put into a lot of my client programs, and it gets them insurmountably stronger than they ever have. It empowers them to look beyond their chronic back pain or hip pain that they've had. makes them feel a lot stronger, makes them feel a lot more confident, allows them to pick up stuff off the floor with ease, their kids, bags of groceries, boxes, all that. So deadlift, amongst most exercises, one of the greatest bang for your buck exercises if done correctly. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna load up a few more plates, and then after that, I'm gonna get into a couple more exercises and then call it a day, right? I had 6 exercises planned for this entire workout. And sometimes this thing that I say all the time to my clients is when you're short on time, have an all or some mentality. Don't always think that you have to get everything done. And sometimes you have to go with imperfect workouts, especially if you're busy cramming. Your workouts aren't always gonna be the same. Sometimes you're not gonna bring 100%, and that's totally fine. But what I'm trying to do here today at around 11 p.m. is get the most bang for my buck exercises. And then what I'll do is, if I have time tomorrow, I will carry over some of the exercises I was planning to do today and then do it tomorrow, right? So I always maintain a non-negotiable mindset. It's a non-negotiable to always get some sort of exercise done each and every single day. All right, so what I'm gonna try to hit is 405, 4 plates for 10 reps. That's what the protocol goes for, so that's what I'm going for. So wish me luck. Okay, that was tough. I don't know if I had much in the tank, but if I didn't rehearse that in my head, that like at all costs I'm gonna hit 10, I might not have hit 10. But anyways, there it goes. That's definitely not my PR, but that was pretty freaking hard. Okay, so mental rehearsal, like I said, tracking workouts. I should say that more often in this video, right? Track your damn workouts. You don't track your workouts, you don't make progress. Secondly, if you look at some of the things I did with the bar, take that slack out, you push through the ground, almost like you're leg pressing through the ground through the first half of the lift. So what I teach to a lot of my clients is you gotta be able to leg press through the ground, and it's a push-pull, right? It's not just all pull. I sometimes say like if you just do, if the deadlift is all pulling, that's where people pull their back. So you wanna push through the ground, take the slack out of the bar, and once it passes your knee, it's a rapid hip thrust. So you're bringing that bar rapidly into your thighs, and your hips, which are flexed, which are bent forward, they go into rapid hip extension. So essentially you're humping the bar in the latter half of that movement. And also anti-shrugging, right? So when you shrug, that's your upper traps. When you pull the shoulders down, you pull the shoulders down as far away from your ears, you're engaging your lats. Your lats is a scapular depressor. Your lats attaches into your thoracolumbar fascia. So it's going to stabilize your lower back, create better intra-abdominal pressure, and you're gonna be able to lift out that bar. Notice I also take a big breath to get the bar off the floor. Hold that breath, get it up. Once I'm up in the air, or once I'm up into that straight position, standing, then I can let the air out. But as you can see with each and every rep that I did, in order to stabilize my body, and I'm sub 153 pounds, lifting 405 off the floor, you need to make sure that you maintain good intra-abdominal pressure. So take that deep breath in, hold that breath, descend, go into the bending portion of your deadlift. Once you get out of the hole, then you can let the air out. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna hit this for 2 more sets. Now I'm just gonna film these, and I'm off to the races for my next one. So this is probably the last workout that I'm gonna film, probably even the last workout of the day, and like I said, I'm gonna carry it over to tomorrow. But let's say if you are running out of gas and you're noticing that your volume's not up to where it is like intro workout, meaning like halfway 20 to 45 minutes into the workout, you notice that your performance is declining, recommended that you always get in some sort of quick acting carbohydrate. So this is not oatmeal, it's not a banana. It's something that like, even for me, like I don't eat a lot of sugary foods, but the only time that I will eat some form of candy or something that I just need quick fuel is now, right? So I need to hit this last set of barbell rows as good as possible. So getting a couple starbursts here, usually around every 30 minutes or so. For every minute that passes by, we want to get in about 0.5 grams, I believe, per minute. There was a research article saying that 0.5 grams per minute is roughly where you want to be. So if, let's say, 30 minutes in, 30 times 0.5, maybe about 12 to 15 grams of carbohydrates. And this might vary depending on the size of the person. And I don't think there's enough research out there to really say, what is that exact amount? But I feel usually pretty good, anywhere between 10 to 15 grams of quick acting carbohydrates. So 4 Starbursts in, ready out after, again, mentally, even the flavor, you just feel a little bit more amped up. So let's get after now. Last set of barbell rows. Okay, so I go into that lift, aiming for at least anywhere between 8 to 12 reps. I was already hitting 225 for at least 10 reps. So loaded on at least 230, depending on how I felt. The goal was 8, I hit 12, and I hit 12 with actually pretty good form. So long story short, some of the principles that I wanted to get through today, and hopefully if you're at the end of this video, you watched it all, congrats. Comment below and let me know if any of the tips that I gave you, if it helped. But if there's any questions that you have around exercise, training, structured protocols, lifestyle, things that you should be eating on a daily basis in order to optimize your gains, improve your longevity, almost give yourself more of a guarantee that you're gonna live a longer and a more able life, not a disabled or shortened life where you're subjected to other disease and everything. So, maybe you came into this video, just wanted to know like how to gain strength, how to kind of do things in a way that's a little bit more structured and that's going to yield the types of fitness gains that you want for the year 2025 and beyond. But also I want you to understand that like this is a lifetime, for me, this is 20 years experience of just doing the same shit over and over and over and over again. Consistency is one thing, and that's why I just said to my clients on New Year's Eve, consistency trumps everything, not perfection. But at the same time, consistency, you wanna have consistent efforts towards the right things. Training smart, logging your workouts, aiming to be 1% better. And throughout all the lifts that I've shown you today, which was only 3 of them, was mental rehearsal and coming in with a sense of urgency that I'm gonna crush this workout, I'm gonna do better this workout, I'm gonna be better than yesterday, right? Focus on the now, focus on today, and keep making gains. So that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this video by any means, click the like button. Also subscribe, comment below what your thoughts are, any questions that you have. I'll be responding to all the questions out there because at this moment in time, YouTube for me is a relatively new medium, is a new platform for me. So I definitely appreciate if you have any feedback for me. But also, again, if you like and subscribe, like all the other YouTube people out there, it allows you to support my channel. The more people that support my channel, the more content I'm gonna crank out. So anyways, happy New Year's to all you guys. Have a blessed day, and just enjoy family, enjoy the times, continue to get better each and every single day. But yeah, if you're here on this journey, welcome in. This is Dr. J, signing out.